Hey guys, my name is Matt Krotz, and this is a part of a video series I'm making to give you a bit of insight into the making of my ancient Roman adventure comic called KYRIE. So in this episode, I wanted to show you the bit of the evolution of the character design for Myra, who's the main protagonist for KYRIE. She's a thief, smuggler, con artist, all-purpose black market entrepreneur. By the opening of the story, she spent much of her time in the borderlands between Rome's eastern provinces and Sasanian Persia. She's just flagrantly taking advantage of these two empires' uncertain, somewhat hostile relationship with each other in order to really just turn some profits, maybe steal a thing or two while the politicians and the ambassadors aren't looking. So Myra is a character that, without getting into spoilers, really as the story progresses, you're going to see that she's really representing more Greek and Hellenistic themes than Roman, and that'll make more sense in other videos. But in this anyway, in this initial phase of her design, I thought I'd try and get away with referencing those aspects in her design a bit more directly, regardless of the fact that this is set in the 3rd century CE, not 5th century BCE. I get better about historical accuracy, or at least I try to. I just thought I'd show you early versions nonetheless. Interesting to see how this progresses. So I think so, at least. So I looked into Greek depictions of Amazons, Phrygians, Persians. These are pretty related concepts in certain respects in the classical mind. I was looking a lot at this kind of Greek and Macedonian, and also for hairstyle, went with a bit of a Gorgon illusion, serpent-like curls you see here. Also kind of tip off some of her plot-specific character traits. And I guess I really stuck with that more or less throughout her iterations. That kind of felt like that should lock in pretty early on. So here's her earlier designs, kind of alpha stages. This is what I came up with originally. This was really before I had really done any serious, committed research into the period, as you can probably tell. It was a fun look. She looks outdoorsy. I don't know. Okay, so then I got to a point where I really started researching more seriously into the mid-3rd century, 250 CE to be exact. And there's something I learned. If you really want to learn about the mid-3rd century frontier between Rome and Persia and see how both civilians and soldiers lived and dressed, you pretty much need to start by looking at Dura Europos in eastern Syria. So specifically, spent a lot of time looking at this synagogue here. I'm pretty sure it's one of the earliest and best preserved synagogues discovered from the period. Dura Europos also, I think, has the earliest intact house church, which is interesting. But really, the synagogue has the most wonderful surviving wall paintings you can see here. They really give you a sense of how the toga, for instance, really was draped, worn in this period. You can get this impression from sculptures too, but sometimes I think the drawings give you a better sense. It's a quicker to draw something than it is to sculpt, for instance. So people kind of gravitate to something that feels like more of the essence of the design. which I really appreciate because it helps me to get to the essence of the design myself. Also, you get a great sense of the women's fashion for the period, at least with the active Jewish community here at the time. Great sense of colors too. There's a lot of pinks, yellows, greens, maroons, oranges, a lot of kind of burnt floral colors, which I appreciated a lot. Even to like textiles on these togas, which my understanding is that has something to do with whether or not you were in the military or came from a military professional background, what's going on there. So that plays into other designs for other characters, but we're sticking to Myra today. Okay, so I really looked in depth at sculpture of the general time period as well, the hairstyle and clothing. I was able to find much more historically accurate material for the men in the story. Unfortunately, I still had to extrapolate from a more general range of sources to find appropriate female hairstyles and clothing. Still going for Greek allusions with Myra, so I watched videos like this one that you see here from classical hairstylist Supreme Janet Stevens. She makes just amazing videos. If you really want to see applied archaeology in action, can't recommend her enough. So Myra's really a Artemis or Diana character. She fits this sort of wild, solitary, untamed huntress of the night trope that the antiquity loved, and Diana really embodies. Clothing wise, that means kind of shorter dresses generally, kind of fabric drawn across the waist, down the sides of the torso as well, kind of freer arms, more outdoorsy, kind of taller footwear, fabric that looks a bit rougher, as you can see. So here's my favorite Artemis. It's classical Greek again. It's not late Roman, but it's made by the Praxiteles school. He's really my favorite Greek sculptor, and you've really got to give it to Praxiteles. The fabric is really stunning. It looks like someone cast actual fabric in bronze. I don't know, I just love it. Looks like she's just gonna walk off that pedestal, go hunt down a stag by the moonlight or something. She's got her traveling gear on, most of her supplies really kind of wrapped, so you can see kind of under her right arm, over her left shoulder, and then kind of binds down underneath a strap that's holding her quiver for her arrows right there. And she's got this sort of loose belt here, kind of keeps her dress close to her midsection for easier travel, I'm assuming. This bronze sculpture, as you can probably tell already, is really the point where I felt I had permission to stay a bit looser with Myra's design, even though I was still going to try and stick to something approaching historical accuracy. Because Artemis, as you know, you probably know if you're watching this video, she's like a lone, nocturnal, outdoors woman type. It's really something that it was outside of the norm for women of any period in antiquity, including when this bronze was cast. So if Myra, you know, as a active, kind of no-nonsense person who's wearing clothes for a functional use, for outdoors use. She's trekking across mountains, forests, deserts alike in KYRIE. She's going to need to dress practically for the occasion, and so this isn't a horrible approach, I feel, even if it's strictly speaking not, evidenced from the 3rd century per se. Yeah, so here's Myra's final design. This is what I kind of came up with. She somewhat evolves in detail as I continue to draw her, but this is overall sort of what I've kind of stuck with. You can see the influences that I was showing you: colors from Dura Europus, clothing scents from Artemis, some extra details like elbow, knee padding, just kind of make sense. Looking at a couple covers from the digital issue releases, you can get a fair sense of how she draws her hair up, kind of ties it underneath with multicolored cloth, and she's got bodkins, hairpins, that sort, kind of stuck straight down beneath the cloth, or between the two wrappings of the cloth, kind of keeps the hair in place. And you can see the like serpent-like gorgon hair, and everything's kind of held in place on the right shoulder with pins, and the loop cloth, I'm having a little bit too much fun in this cover, but in Myra's case, the cloth contained little pockets. I thought it would be fun at this point, give myself a bit of freedom and say she's got pockets in there. She's storing, small concealed items like money or stolen goods or knives, and just a bit from the pages themselves to show you some of the other items she gathers up and travels with for much of the story, including this quiver and arrow set, bow set. Bow's a little somewhat recurved in the Persian style. Quiver is certainly in the Persian style, and it echoes just a bit of the Amazonian origins from when I first started her design. So yeah, that is Myra. So thanks for tuning in, and go ahead and check out other videos if you're interested in this sort of thing. You can check out, you can read the comic so far as it comes out Mondays and Fridays at KYRIEcomic.com. Please, by all means, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm doing updates on all three, slightly different stuff on each, so check them all out. Encourage you to do that, and check out the Kickstarter that this video is coming out in association with. Really love your support to get this comic printed, get it into your hands. It's gonna look really nice. Yeah, so contact me by any of these means and let me know what you think, and either way, hope to talk to you soon. Bye.